In Toronto, where citizens who are in public housing are part of the process, they've actually created something called allocation days. Tell us a little bit about that. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, so in Toronto, the way participatory budgeting works is that tenants in each building come together, brainstorm ideas for how to improve their building. So that could be getting new furniture for a rec room, repainting the walls, things like that. And they pick the top priorities, the top 3 priorities for each building, and they select a delegate, someone to represent that building to go forward. Those delegates from each building then meet together across the different buildings in the city. And they have these allocation days where the different delegates pitch their building's top idea. And it's kind of like a game show format where each delegate will get a couple minutes. They'll have some visuals, maybe do a little skit or a song or a dance, and have some posters and say, here's why we need funding for our building. And then all the delegates will vote on which project to fund. They can't vote for their own project, though, and that's really important. So you have to look at what are the other projects are most critical based on your understanding of those needs. And so you have people getting to know the needs of different buildings across the city, different communities, and then voting which ones to fund.
You know, as you're describing that, I'm thinking there have to be people who are saying, this is trivializing these really important issues, and I am not in public service to entertain people.
Right, so there's this notion that politics is serious, and games and fun are not serious. And I understand where that's coming from. I think it's a mistake, that fun is actually very serious. If you think about the things that we enjoy most, you're not actually sitting there giggling and laughing with a broad smile on your face. Usually when you're
engaged.
You're really engaged. When you're having the most fun, if you are playing a game, if you're doing something you're passionate about, you are deeply engaged and at your peak. And what we've seen in games is that this is when we're feeling most fulfilled. We're kind of in this flow state where there's a perfect match between the challenges that we're confronted with and our abilities. And we're constantly being tested, but just to the limit of our abilities. That's what fun is, and it feels really meaningful for people. And I think that politics could also be more meaningful if we gave people a chance to really test their abilities, to apply themselves, and it can make politics and democracy actually work. So it's not just about making it fun, but in that process, we can make it work. The other critical point that I want to mention is that saying that politics and democracy shouldn't be enjoyable is basically saying it's only for people who like politics regardless of whether it matters, regardless of whether it's tolerable. So the kind of usual suspects, the people who always show up at meetings, the people who are usually more affluent, older, and we're saying that.
And you're actually seeing that in the United States. That is, compared with Latin America, it is more of the middle income and the middle upper incomes participating in this.
Exactly. That's who participates most in politics. And so we're only seeing a narrow segment of the population is reflected in politics, and we're leaving lots of people on the outside. And so if we make politics and democracy something that people would actually want to participate in, not just the experts, but people that are ordinary folks who want to participate in, we bring in all those other voices and make sure that democracy represents us all.
I can just hear it now. Hey, Bill, are you going to the council meeting tonight? Instead, it's like, could you please come to this council meeting?
Exactly.